seen from the Supreme Court ruling and everything, this committee believes strongly that it has been recommended that Yana Nama Hamadu Abdullah must be recognized as a former Yana.
Ne Supreme Court banana ko bobban shawama ne ruwa ne ne sate na Muhammad Daniela Yana kuru.
From the letter that was submitted here, that was written to the Yana, the regional administration stated that the funeral of the burial of former Yana. The Yana did agree to that letter also.
Ne benda sabe regional office na barna substantiellement mabara ne Yana kuru yetoma lo dima ma bara wuya ne regional office bara sate ne na Mama Daniela Yana.
And from this memorandum of agreement with the signature of Yana there, it is also confirming that Nama Hamadu Abdullah was to be recognized as a former Yana.
Ne alkawle bankshel on la bungoma ne ka bala wurne bitwene de sakene na Mama Daniela Yana.
Once we are clear about this, then we need to go back to the funeral program.
Ne woma ti to insult woma ne ka lamna na ya ko sohu mane to kulma me yeto.
After the burial of Yakubu, it should follow that his son should be appointed as a regent, or which one? This one.
Ne di nonka de sonage di yen zan so jil bank car bank na ko bien jil bank na mama bien jil bank ne car bank
tun kena sabasu mun sura yogonna ne wunna ne yamna da wulan dole nan yibo ya tobil fun nan ya tobil fun.
Your Majesty, the other members of the Committee of Eminent Chiefs want to beg for permission to ask just a few questions.
Yama ya toye nan dalan bi shala bi yula sominta ya to anar permission.
I want to say that the human being is infallible, and maybe something that took, pardon? Infallible. So thank you. Fallible. Something that happened yesterday or maybe this morning, somebody could easily forget. I'm saying this because since this unfortunate incident happened, this is the 4th year.
When
you look inside the memorandum of understanding, you realize that my uncles, including my direct father, appended their signatures. They did it because they wanted to reconcile and unite the whole of the bank. But immediately after that, what didn't we see? And people started passing and passing. So he's saying that anybody whose father is killed this way definitely will be peeved. So when this thing happened, His Excellency the President asked that the regional minister brings us to Accra. And when we got to Accra, we met with His Excellency the President. So what His Excellency told us was that he has invited us to tell us that we should have patience and have faith in God. Nobody should come out to say he or she will want to retaliate on what has happened.
Nama umiro biate.
But he told us that he knows we are feeling the pinch.
Doso mbola ipamba. Nebo basa pana jam. Doso donia bisa pana. Kan ni ezan yeto asheti mbo.
So he told us that I've also invited your elders, so you should go and rest. Tomorrow when they all come, then we'll sit down and know what to do.
Doso mbola asante hini mpo ma sakana kapoli iyebu na lewula kapoli iyebu gabunna.
He told us that
Nayiri itu Nayiri to ama ere Nayiri la ma
His Excellency invited the Nayiri and Yobungura and to Accra.
Yes, yeah. The one will have Nayiri, Kabuli, no one lay Nayiri, Nani, Muni, Nana, no Muni, Yabungura. No, what the Yelba, Kelekan Tosieto. Bologna and Shimikadi, those who can soon. There's nobody here, Nayiri. Nakaboli Munana, Nakaboli Yabuna. Ni Noy and Yelba Shemiela, where Zangla Kali. Kalma Puni. Then nation, Buleta, the bank negotiation, when Zamba cover me Puna, Batab Saura, and Gobda Bank, Nicha. That the young had to know the nation, the son Nayana.
Accra, His Excellency told us that he has invited the Nayiri, Your Majesty Otunfo, and my grandfather, the Yobongura, so that to tell them about how to go into this DAGBON crisis as far as tradition was concerned. So he was inviting them and the Committee of Eminent Chiefs to always hold regular consultation with the Kuwana until such time that the late king of DAGBON is given a befitting burial.
Where in me and our family, you look equity in the son like
but you from the Andana family, when you get back to DAGBON, do not do anything to anybody thinking that that person has created this problem. Do not go and take the law into your own hands.
The Minister Security, the regional minister, and the Sudan Secretary Palmo. The Bamini Union,
and the security agencies will also take up the criminal aspect of the whole issue. Were handed over to Committee of Eminent Chiefs. And you handled that for 3 years. This is the 4th year. And part of the custom has been done. Or we talked about the palace that has been built, a new one has been built. And we were still coming to you. And we were coming to get your blessing to go home and bury the late king and get his legend installed. But from the way things are, it looks as if were being cross-examined, or like we have been put before a court. And the murder issue is not being discussed. The murder in 69 is not being discussed. 79 in 69 and 40 in 2002. It is always the underneath side that takes this pain. That is why I started by saying that sometimes we can forget. Father signed the memorandum of understanding just to keep any confusion and to bring us together as one people. But upon all that, this one. Afterwards, the 40 people, including the overlord of DAGBON, was killed, and people still want to benefit from this heinous crime. And when the memorandum of understanding was executed, princes from both Abuja and Dane were being skinned as chiefs in DAGBON.
Regional Minister Soko Jima
the Honorable Regional Minister is here. He took over from somebody. So that person can no longer have anything to do with the regional administration.
President Tidishimo,
His Excellency the President Donald Joko is the President of Ghana today. Rawlings, former President Rawlings, can no longer go there to do any official work. We cited example of 3 former Yanas. And not only in DAGBON, but all traditional areas all over Ghana. Any chief who is the king, is not regarded as a chief. Still repeating what he earlier on said, that the memorandum of understanding was signed for the sake of peace. But even with that, the Yana and 40 were still many.
Now, listen. You want to tell them, Solana? No man.
The Solana says I should extend his greetings to you, my grandfather, the Nobora, grandfather, the Naire.
Now,
What Solana is saying is that he is thinking that once the committee of eminent chiefs is in place, they, your sons and grandsons, should not come and sit here and have anything to say. You know what is right. So they were thinking that you would have just come after your consultations. You tell them to go ahead and with the burial and the restoration of region. But people, try to, people try to, make fun. People try to make fun out of this unfortunate incident. They see people from there and they do this. And that you can ask brothers. And this is all adding to the pain and agony that we are enduring. He wants to put on record all my uncles and grandfathers tell you it is the late king who enskinned all of them. He's asking whether it is not the Yana who has enskinned them.
Thank you. Now, gentlemen, you see, like I said, we cannot allow emotions to deviate from exactly what we have to do here. Whatever has happened in that one, whatever the problem, we still would need peace. We need to find a solution to the problem. The three members here, Yabunra, Nairi, myself, have no benefit to anything in supporting either the Andani or the Abu.
Ne bokonti ma nana ne yawe na yire ne yawe yobonna ne afan shel kan kabienti bi yina ne rozara andele nyanga bi bijara abu yine nyanga afan shel kan kabienti.
Our only desire is to seek peace for them.
Ne bania kunyala bubo sudu unte daba.
And for you to live in peace.
Ne de chati za ge daba ma ne sudu.
There's no point in crying over spilt milk because the issue about Yana's death, I've asked the government to look at it seriously. And I said to you some time ago that anyone who has leased should even come to me quietly to let me know who must have done these things. And then we would inform even the security agencies. That is an issue that I've been talking to the president about for them to investigate properly. And so that is being handled by them. Ours is to look at the traditional methods of resolving this issue.
Kuyana be zakra de zakra bien ka basha wara na to kuyana na na yuko yikoya na to kana entinyu ashione en yirole domne denye shawar shere omre tumban sula no kubar ni mohe.
We still would appreciate if anyone has evidence of who did that, the criminal aspect. I'm prepared to listen. Both the members of the committee are prepared to listen. We will take it up separately with the security agencies and the president.
Ne dinno ka so yimal la shahrama ne bannan ma ton yamna yire wonnana ne yamma yobonna den to kana ti yelba ba man tan ba jona ba shawara ne Ghana Ashiro Bobai, Kalani Nirma, Begina, and Tiavan.
But for now, what we need to do is to look at the issues that we've raised today in terms of the burial of the Yana, which we have to do. And then the question of regency. Because we cannot leave the former Yana in the fridge just because we can't agree on a regency or the way forward. The more we do that, we punish the old man, we are punishing ourselves also. The question of regency came up some time ago where the Abu were saying that we can suspend the regency. And then the Andani said, no, we can't suspend the regency, should follow. And this, today we sought clarification from both sides where the Andani said that yes, after the burial of Naya, we still can appoint a regent within 1 week or whatever. The Abudus also did agree that yes, it is customary to appoint a regent within after even 1 week after the burial. But the issue of regency, they said the reason why they were suggesting that was because now Muhammad Abdullah died first and his funeral has The Andanis then couldn't accept that now Muhammadu Abdullah should be referred to or recognized as a Yana. And the argument from this side was that there was a Supreme Court ruling to that effect. So we've gotten the Supreme Court ruling and then we've read it, interpreted it to the hearing and understanding of all of us. Which from the document that we read affirms that now the former Yana must be recognized as such. We've seen a document signed by Yana himself also accepting that fact. Having been clear about these issues, then we come back to the funeral program as to what to do with the burial of Naya Kubu. The appointment of a regent. Then the funerals of Na Muhammadu Abdullah, whether it's outside the palace or the palace, whatever. And then the funeral of Na Yakubu and Dani. And there are two sons, because the first one, the Na Muhammadu son, had been sitting in Yendi, that was creating that parallel thing with Na Yakubu, where people would go there to pay homage to this one and see. That is what brought this one. So we need to look at the program where the son of Na Muhammadu Abdullah will leave Yendi, the son of Na Yakubu also will leave Yendi, the new Yana can stay there in peace, and then we have peace in that.
ka zang di yibanne ka bo ya na puluma ija ka ya na puluma yiji injil we mala suju ndene ka sobla gaaw.
When we started, we said there should be compromises and people should lose out on certain issues.
Ne tenda ni ne traye ne retue ne te sorti yi forchanga de fasuru ka sorti yi forchanga.
I don't think at any time in DAGBON history there was going to be this Supreme Court ruling of recognizing a Yana and an incumbent Yana, but it's happened on our hands.
Ne ona butiar kama da kuma ila jeje da shelna tibyanka ko tutu zang du ma tiare da ban ye tona ti wor zakanya na bi zakla panna ne da ban ye jeje la na kutuna.
There should always be one Yana.
Ne do butiane kam katamala Yana yimu.
Unfortunately, at this time, we are lumbered with this issue of Na Muhammadu being referred to as a former Yana who is dead and his son is there. And then we have Na Yakubu who is dead now, who was the incumbent Yana that we all know. And his son is also there, his burial is also waiting.
O Barbara Yana Kuro, Yana Yaku, Babian Kizahan, Miso, Kurani Yana, O Babian, Babian, Ulakat Lay, Tieku,
The way forward that the committee this afternoon was thinking of was that yes, there should be a regency, but there should be limited powers, because we realize that both sides, when one has the opportunity, then one will use it against the other.
Ne komtimane jinu tamone Virginia bare commander tuane yemane tar du soka jilban kama banama ya yemala tara dom dipala des social dem germania and then nem zisrna buyen yijine be benamba ka buyen charme and then yijine benamba do de disat ka soka jilban banama yemala.
What we see here is that if the regent of Naya Kubu, for example, is put there, all right. The fear on the other side is that when he's put there with all the power, then it means they are going to be deprived. He would have all the powers to install so many of the chiefs and all those things, and they would lose out.
Na ku bangla jin ya buinen dadam ne shenya ne na ku bangla yijine ne de tonka na shade na dongo tambi bankula ni nam di bukula mare shel ne nanga ya buinen dadam ne shenya.
Neither would the Andanis also accept that a regent from the Abudus should be there, because they also feel that when he gets the opportunity, there will be also problems for them. But gentlemen, we would have to let you appreciate that once the Yana, the incumbent one, is dead, then it goes to follow that after his burial, there should be a regent. And by your custom, if it is his son, that we believe his son must be the regent, but with limited powers there, not to appoint or do anything.
Di sarka di soe na ya ku kajiro ban o de zon o bijil ban ba ma o ya mala targa kamo pe yela bi to asanga bien tarbiya tumne o nanga.
Sit down, please. We are telling you, we are coming up with the suggestions. We would like you to discuss and you come up with what you feel about it. So the way forward that we think is that fine, after the burial of Naya Kubu, when you give him that title to look at the body of his father, then he could be appointed, the first son of whatever could be appointed the regent. But not with powers that would be appointing all the chiefs and all those things. That's under normal circumstances it will happen.
Kajil Bank, Mbole, Mbole, aux ans de champignons au bas, car soit qu'à Gilo Bank, ne dit au Yaya Mala Tara, Kamaï, Namalia, Boumane, des champs de Mama à la chambre, des noms qu'à Gadama Kuna.
And then, after that, when he is the regent, then now Muhammad's son would also have a title and perform his father's funeral.
Ne la na ubanga yijinare ka na mama ba banga na de boyu boy bolo ubamala ubakule.
When he also performs his father's funeral, then we think the regent of we have to set up a committee of blood relations of 3 from the Andani, 3 from the Abudu, so that they would jointly, together with the regent, who gives a title to the son of Muhammad, so that he would be given a title, whatever title, and then he goes. The regent of Yakubu would wait till after we've had a Yana, and then the Yana then would confer a title on him, Yakubu's son, and he would also leave Yendi.
Ne di nunca só Kajil Banga ka na Yakubu Banga Jia ka Smalda Mama Bakule ne kal no wono so bom yulte na Mama Banga ma dum bonto o yine kace kana ku Banga ma Jia ne titinye ya na polo yi ya na polo o bo le lo se polo ko na ku Banga ma ba no.
All of them should be given limited period to perform the funerals of the chiefs who are there, so that they can then perform the funeral of their fathers. See, that to us would be the way forward that we need to look at. We would suggest that we break for you the Andani and the Abudu to discuss what we are saying to you now, and then when we come back, then you can come up with what you think about this suggestion.
And then you look at Basha and you are bringing by look at Basha or Tilamna, you Basha or Tarzanle and so.
I believe that would be better. That is how we look at it. If you think not now, just if we would excuse you to go in for consultations and come back to tell us what you feel.
Ne
when you come back, just go and consult, come back. Then later on you can go. No, let them discuss it. Let me welcome you back. Yes. You are first and then they are back.
The Abudu family has met the leadership of Natona Amiawena. In the bank custom, the one who dies first, it is his funeral which is performed first. The issue of regency, Your Majesty, in this particular issue, which I used peculiar, and my brother didn't understand me and said that I accepted the guilt of the murder of the Yana. That is not true. It's a peculiar case.
No other yellow, Goma be so good. Babio, Yashamachi, Penny, or Saya, Nebenenda, who and Diana, Kalako, your woman, then Mangoma, the yellow sun is desirable.
When Na and Danny died,
Nana and then that can it.
My brothers are witnesses. How long did it take before they skin Naya? The reason was that there was a peculiar situation.
The Sahama, the Barab, it was Shambo and Dabi and the Sahara,
so it took some time. Now, with the regents, if they bury the king and go ahead and skin a regent, the Bolana is still in Yenti.
Tony, be so na Yaku. Come on, issue, but the Tiamani, Namama, because my Bolana on a Binaya.
The Supreme Court has agreed that he is the son of a former Yana, and therefore we regard him as a regent.
Supreme Court is something on Yala Yanazu.
And that has been said since his father died, up to date.
And Obama can handle Yana de Zuza.
It is this mistake both of us are making that brought about this unfortunate thing which I talked about, and he's thinking that I felt guilty. No.
Lala China Shanga Dunia is one Wilson woman. It all for a year, maybe my yen Tiani, no Yelshamo, Samani, or to Kali.
As soon as he's made a regent, his laws are binding on all of us.
Nedino, the Sonaya, Tamalish Bank. The Omara did the Banza.
It doesn't simply mean the skinning of chiefs or enskinning of chiefs.
None of Level Conco, being an a Yibu Conco new to my or to Malangela, the Bang Biakam Jima, the Fukumsibiro.
Therefore, Your Majesty, in the seek for peace, the best interest is for all of us to come together, bury the Yana, and then we go ahead and perform the funeral of the late Namam. That has been the problem we have. We are only asking for the funeral, not anything else.
Dunzo Yelama, the Cheshama, the Tria, that is our Santi, Ka Big Sonai, Karichella Kari, Jilana Mamaro Bang Kamalo Kuli, Kulma Kabin, which check out Male.
Your Majesty, if we skip over Nama Mado's regency or the funeral and go to and skin a funeral, a regent for Nanda, it means we have gone against the Supreme Court ruling.
Dinanka, the son I Kaichon Lambang issue bank. Have a garden Bang, then was Supreme Court that shot in the Yana, you remember Kuliana Kuma, the children Lavambala.
So, Your Majesty, the Abudu family stand is that we all accord the late Yana as our father. We all agree to bury. But for the regency, Your Eminent Chiefs, please, if you suspend it, and we perform our brother's funeral, the better for us.
And then Yana is a Yana and then you. Miss I saw a Yana, then I have good saw. He passed on Nagandama, Balini, Capa, Socam Solo, Sabuma, Soy, Dejuna, Bankamolo, Krupoi, Karnai, Junaya could be Bankama.
Commission. As earlier on stated, you are our fathers. you have handled us since the demise of the Yana up to date.
The Pambamini Yabama, when Shadam be a Kalki, Captain Damahirishi, Vishia, Sopran to move a Kalki.
As our leaders, we cannot tell you what custom is all about.
Nipus and Bunkura Umuba, a Bunkule, the spy Margaret.
And I have used certain examples, and something that is expired is expired.
Mbapre Polman can yet wash a night. Supreme Court, Brana Nicho, Brana playing.
Now the Supreme Court would have left former Yana Mahmoud Abdullah in office. They would not have disciplined him if what he's saying is anything but Buba. They wouldn't have disciplined him. They would have left him in their hands.
There's a Pambanye, Minima Tamakali and Suga. Very not to society. Bungma yet to Amaka to play. Yana Kimoma, deep patal, when yet the chama, the chama, the third fight, later in the shop. Bimmy, you can't be calling. Nearly young Maya to our answer Shava. I was also. After Yelmandanza Kapana, Yelmandan now.
He knows the committee of eminent chiefs. You are our fathers, and we are your sons and grandsons. And when your children are quarreling over something, you want to blame any of them or you want to settle it. You don't have any fears. Or they are your children. You can tell them, A, you are wrong, or B, you are wrong. So this is what I am appealing. I'm pleading that your majesties just tell us this is what we want you to go home and do. And if on the other hand you think otherwise, then you tell us. And he knows you are all eminent chiefs, and they are your grandchildren and sons. You can tell them if their Danis are not right. You tell them if their Buddhists are not right. He knows you can tell them. So this is what it is.
There is no help with but Yagi will be so come to Kibala, so come to Amadani, where you miss our he wants to liken this place to a court where when somebody is put before a law court, as you go and the case is being adjourned, there's a day that the judge will tell you A is not right or B is not right. Then he just tells you then whatever the law will say is applied. Then everybody goes his way. There is only the Suruman, the new Kurayimo, Terpon Fagas, what's it? But you talk and lay a tall water. Carabin Markham, couple genre, the good
He's making an appeal that this morning in your introductory remarks you made mention that the Nairi and the Lubongra by this time should have been resting and they always have to travel this far, and this is the time they have to rest, and this is the time you have to tell us in our faces that either A is right or B is right. Then the old men, including your majesty, will have time to do other business.
There's no temple to open 1 year. There's a whole belt of Baluku. Yet, the police is if
you want to go by what both of us are telling you, we will sit here up to next year and we wouldn't find a solution to it.
My discussion ended on the note that we esteem the region of Yana Yakubu and then first to contravene or in contempt of the Supreme Court's rulings.
Ne mbakore por banga ya jeri no ka je na ko bang tule ne mala tiem bagla from to sell.
But I wish to state that the order 3 which is laying emphasis cannot be taken in isolation. If we want to get the real interpretation, then we must go with findings 4, 5, 7. That will give us the real interpretation.
Supreme Court ma bu sel bu dem para anula ner tumtuma na mi yen jang na tumtuma de male je gol shama karbayam pa din ka yan zam pa kay to ma na ni ye to mo ni ka ana nyer ni
I said all that you want is the filler.
Ne ba ko ba ya ne ya bu ni no bol sel sa ya na mahmar kulma
and it's already dictating if now who's regent. It means that it will be in contempt of Supreme finding.
Neka mbako ban le pom boyom ye nri no ka di jina ko ban tule ne de mala tiam berla Supreme Court to
We all have to understand that there was one and only one ruling Yana.
Ne
Yana Yakuba.
Ne tuye ne zahaban ne yana yino nda biene munye na do anda yana Yakubu andane.
And the question of the former Yanas, we've stated the position of former Yanas where there is, we have examples to cite. And what happens after they are dead?
Ne ka de zang yana nambam me ban mazu katla pa yana no ka de zang le enteng mahama ne zang enteng mahama bula bondale dole ni nyanga binda kana.
We have suffered a lot of compromises. On the other side, because there has never been a situation where the Andanis come out and dictate to our cousins that if you don't do ABC, you won't do this and that. Each time they have a ruling chief from Abudu side, we cooperate, no conditions, nothing, and until God decides when the chief should go.
Ne te andelnum di wala ka pasuro pam ne tam kam di kunanka abuli ne tiji yen na mabana so andelnum jama kam man de tunir no sel kam ka jahma ku fiya banangale na wunnete inta ko fukum sana tamsel to ama ditin no ka dinye andelnum tam kam iwa bulnum mala marasama insan.
Our commission came out clearly that Yana Abdullahi II was to remove. But when the human government came in, and then the family had to painfully consider that and compromise.
Ne afare commission da goya ne gratuit ne bayi na blabele namne ama nimal ma ne ka kuma gwamnati da zan on kerne wanda zan on kerne kan da ne sai intin
We accepted with great pain.
ne bera salma la ne biyar
Lo and behold, even though they were indeed negotiating for these compromises, immediately after the Nkrumah government, they were the first to emerge to kick against the same arguments that they were in.
ne dinda nonka de bore shawara ne namban yin ne male yelma zan kalazo yo bulin mun da kan na tafara yo andan ne de bo namban yin na ma dinda kunnun ka kunmin fagun kuma gwamnati yo bulin mun da hanye tule kabinat tabat yelma la ya'al.
When Nama Kuli died, my grandfather,
ne o yabe na man chemnara kane
it was the young learner from Abudu Gate. When they argued that the young learner was responsible for the performance of the funeral, he accepted and they performed my grandfather's funeral.
ne na man chemnara kane ka yawa bulin mun yina tiyan a na ikale nyangla len tu okulu malbo ne kan de ne msakay iwa bulum da yina ka na bla na ma bla yina ntamal na ma hantem.
There was a compromise we accepted.
Ne mo mara nyela to toxan nan ban yinga shella kabra bo.
And now then came back to them as a chief.
Ne kan nan da jim bak lablati njimyang.
But when Namahambla died, they said, no, it is not the young leader who should perform Namahambla's funeral.
Ne Namahambla kanet, ne kayo abulile party pala nyel, kamyang la mane ya na apule.
Now there was it was accepted just for the sake of.
Ne kana na andane da jumyang usai kakaji. Mane.
You are still in Miam when Namahambla died, and Namahambla came on as the regent.
Ne orana kusila Miam ka na Namahambla kane na yirma.
La ma nu ma sara ma tu doy. Ebe mo la society ya dan te bole do sara ma shori katizayi koncha ma.
Na.
Yari ndir ma tu bi titin.
Na. Na yi
ya ku ya mu yoruba.
Na.
Tu ci bro ban wali.
Na.
Ba sa ku ni.
Na.
Ya mu nu ma ya to ama.
Na.
Da ya pu ya tin ma ma.
Na. You really saying what you saying is that already mentioned that we should just start. It's short for them to retire. Or say that they are not rather sleeping. Or we don't even see the late king, this so it is something that is worrying him. So we will not want to talk long, and that an elder should not have a problem, talking to his sons. Now you.
Your Excellency, I'm just trying to recount the compromises that we have always been going to, and at the end of it all, we end up suffering compromises.
So, Bapare Pandane, Ole Yella, Tum Andan of the Bor Suju, Ramadi Punokate, the Borne, the young Tinyara, Futina.
When Namahambla died, that was the chief of Miam, and this time again, the custom that they said Miamlana was responsible for the Yana's funeral, he was again denied not to perform it.
Braya bunda yer shirka na mambul mal na man chokunda na mambul ne kana tijiriyan na ban ko kan be le ne kana nyong ma ya na fu zo na na be mal na mam
at the death of Nabla Bla, 9 chiefs from Andan, there were only 9 chiefs from the Andan family.
Ne Nabla Bla kana and
out of these 9 chiefs, 3 were those who were enskined by the Abudi side. But at the death of Nayaku, they themselves can confess how many people from the Abudi side were occupying positions.
Ne yawa boy na mutu in yeldi yamangle ne bani ba la li yer yana parta.
So we have done a lot of compromises, but at the end of the day it's always a disappointment.
Ne ande nam bo suju mun malbu pam ba ma bi kun nan la de babu tinyala jam.
And so what we are indicating that the position, as we have been asked to look at the Supreme Court's findings as against order 3 as against 4 findings 5, 6, 7, and we will see how best we can address the situation.
ne kaman nana no do kwashella o nara la spun ko la spun ko tuno gra ma essentiellement kalkale lokshama de kale ka bank di zati di essential.
And how sure are we that if another compromise is put across, tomorrow will not be a disaster?
Ne oborno bala nana ne ti ala samu ne wula katien mal surtout kaman jane ti sa kula ni bayen dirwala.
Because it's also stated that somebody who dies first, that is the situation of creation of parallel states. So, and I believe that this committee is not sitting to encourage the creation of parallel states, because the bank was noted for only one yana. So if we now say that there were two yanas, then we are accepting the situation of a parallel state. But the issue of a former yana, as you have indicated, we have got precedents while funerals of former yanas were performed. And I think we have to address ourselves.
Kartunar mal nungo ma borner ko kaman tramal ya nan mali gama sokam da ni ya na yu katra mala kariyen num kala ma ayam jan dinyara bi shaw di taye donc tate sujo chef borma.
I never said that there were two yanas in the Of course, this peculiar situation, I continue repeating the peculiar situation, where Nama Marifina was not performed when he died and left his first son, who was the boy Nana, in Yen.
On year to Shermania, the Danon Kadama Marcani, coming when you are now. Ome Okul Mali, Licho of the Victor Sana Bonana, Okulishida.
When Nayapa was there and Bolnana was in Yen, Bolnana never escaped any chief.
The Bolna Nakun Dabian Kabolan, the Bolan Dabli Hernama.
He never arrogated any Yanis powers to himself.
What I be Zomas Yana.
Because that was almost always a family affair. If I am at Abudu, of course that is my brother, I will go to him.
The Bishadan down on a year when Yara breathing. Go tell him yellow chosen.
And when the late Yana called me, I went.
The Helen Diana when I will write.
I regarded him as a Yana.
What I saw to the Yana.
I never regarded Bolana as a Yana.
What I hear
that was an issue of purely family affair.
What I can domain or down.
Now this peculiar situation in which we are now,
the
way politics and other things are brought into the bank issue.
Politics mean yet or shiny cake number and shaman.
If your eminent chiefs, your majesties, if you don't look at this case critically and allow the enslavement of a regent, we will not have peace.
Tilly, or yet or shaman. Zoroma, Bibis on Hankali, Yelma, Punivin Yelanga. Kacheka, somewhat the soccer jilpon. Bama, then to turn on Soluya.
According to the bank custom, Nama Hamadu was a Yana and he died first.
The bank custom, Nama Daniel Yana. And
the Supreme Court ruling agrees that when he dies, his sons and children all